China's industrial policies are hurting the United States. On March 24th, the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission met on Capitol Hill to review testimony from experts regarding the United States' growing trade deficits in China. Some of the experts in attendance said that unless the U.S. is able to reverse the trend of outsourcing jobs and production to China, any recovery from this recession, if one even occurs, will be marginal at best. Dr. Ralph Gomery of NYU stated that American companies are contributing to the development of China and simultaneously contributing to the loss of jobs and destruction of industries in the United States. Terrence Stewart, an attorney specializing in international trade, said that the Chinese regime employs direct and indirect subsidies such as grants, interest loan subsidies, debt forgiveness, and tax concessions to prop up state-owned enterprises, introduce new technologies, and expand or build new capacity. He warned that if these practices were allowed to persist unabated, the U.S. would lose all ability to compete with China in any world market, including our own domestic market. According to Stewart's testimony, as well as officially filed grievances of several U.S. trade representatives and dozens of American entrepreneurs, the Chinese government does not provide the WTO, and thus the world community, with an exhaustive list of its domestic subsidies. Furthermore, many of the subsidies which it does provide still seem to be of questionable legality, according to the World Trade Organization. The Chinese offer immense subsidies to core industries, particularly steel, because these are the industries necessary to build and proliferate a modern nation. Up until 2004, China was a net importer of steel, but with help from the central authorities and a good deal of technological cloning, China had a $67 billion surplus from steel sales alone by 2008. Clyde Prestowitz, the president of the Economic Strategy Institute, said that when currency manipulation is thrown into the mix, China has devised a policy to make its domestic steel industry almost impervious to outside market forces. China's steel industry isn't the only problem. They funnel the surplus profits of one industrial sector into other sectors until they create an advantage there as well. It is a vicious cycle, and it is crippling the United States. At the same time that they subsidize their homegrown industries, we sell ours off to foreign interests, often selling them to China of all places. Since China joined the WTO in 2001, the United States has seen the largest drop in manufacturing jobs in its history. We now have fewer total manufacturing jobs than we did in 1960, though our population is roughly 70% greater. China is subject to the same WTO obligations as the U.S., yet they continually break the rules, and there is nothing the U.S. or the international community can do about it. The only way to enforce the rules of the WTO are through sanctions, and China is immune to sanctions due to the massive size of its trade surpluses and its industrial output. If the United States wants some of its leverage back, it must start by retaking the millions of jobs it has lost to China. The Chinese are allowed to manipulate their currency and their trade relations because almost everyone in the world owes them something, except of course for Japan, which still maintains a balance of payments surplus with China. The WTO is failing to uphold the international trade system, and it has been hijacked by China, and it is killing the United States. We can either sit idly by as China conquers the world economy, or we can take a stand against it. This is absolute economic warfare, and the United States needs to show up at the table. If the WTO is failing, then we need to remake it or leave it behind. If free trade is failing, then we need to abandon it and find a better solution. The United States cannot survive, let alone thrive, as an independent economy unless it takes actions to stop the undermining of its foundations. On behalf of concerned citizens, I'm Craig Harrington. For more on this and other related topics, please log on to economyincrisis.org.
Wake up, America! Open up your eyes! Wake up, America! Wake up!
Produced by economyincrisis.org.